Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Alyssa, and today we are going to get organized with our Cricut. Now, for this project, I'm making some pantry labels. I'm getting organized. I'm getting healthy for the new year. I'm super excited, and there's no better or easier way to get started. Jars and tubs. So I'm going to walk you through Design Space and how to design your own labels step by step. So let's get started.
Okay, so we want to start with a clean pantry jar. We can clean it with alcohol, and then we're going to measure out how big we want our label to be. Okay, so we are in the Cricut Design Space here. I'm already started a new project. We're going to start by going to Shapes, and I'm going to pick something a little more fancy, kind of dig in these, square with an inverted corner. Just going to make it a little bit larger. Now we're going to go up and over to offset. We're going to click on offset, and now we're going to choose how far we want it to offset off of our shape here. So you notice if I increase the distance, it's going to be really big. If we decrease, it's going to get a little bit smaller. Now, when we're working with the vinyl, we want to make sure that we have a thick enough line in our work so that the machine will cut it properly. So I'm going to go with, let's do about 0.56, maybe a little bigger than that. Let's do 0.111. Let's try that, apply. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both shapes, go to subtract. Okay, and look at that. Now we have the outer portion of our pantry label. Now we've already pre-measured how big we want our labels to be, so I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller here. I have measured it to be 3.5 inches. So we're going to type that in. 3.5 inches is what we want. All right. Now we're going to choose our text. So I've already got my text here. I chose Graphico Com Regular, and that's included with designs. And we're going to get started. So the first label I'm going to make is oatmeal. New year, new me. I'm making sure I get all my healthy foods in every day. I'll make that a little bit smaller. Let's just bring this down here so you can see a little bit better. Okay. So now that I have both of those, I'm going to make sure that they're both the same color. Color is so that the Cricut is going to print them out together at the same time. If you have them two different colors, then it's going to want you to put two different mats. And for the sake of this video, I'm just going to keep it one color. So I'm centering my letters or my word in the frame. We're going to go align center horizontally and align center vertically. And that's going to ensure that our word is centered perfectly within the frame. All right, now we're going to hold down the Alt key or the Option key on your keyboard and drag, and that will double the frame for you. So let's do it again and make a third. Alt drag or Option drag, and again for a fourth. And we always want to double check and make sure that we haven't doubled a frame that we haven't moved. Otherwise, you'll get double cut lines. Now I'm highlighting oatmeal and the frame, and we're going to group those together. Command G on your Mac or Control G on your PC. Now let's go down to the text here. We're going to get started with protein powder. I'm going to do this in two separate lines. So protein first, size it. Let's see how it fits in our frame here. I might size it down a little bit more before starting on powder. kind of play around. You can do whatever you like for your labels here. I'm just going to use what I need for my kitchen. Okay, so now I'm grouping these guys together. How do they look? I might move this one around a little bit, kind of play with them, see where I like them. They don't have to be perfectly aligned on top of each other. Oh, look at that. I had an extra frame there, so always got to double check that. Okay, so now I'm going to group these two words together, protein and powder, Command G. Okay, let me just fix this for a second, put it where I want it. All right, almost there. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight protein and powder, and we're going to Command G or Control G to group those guys together. And we'll get back to centering them within the frame. Okay, there we go. Command G, we group them together. All right, highlight the frame and your words. Okay, up to align, center vertically, back up to align, and center horizontally. Now we're completely centered within the frame. And we're going to group those together. Command G or Control G on your keyboard. Now you can notice that they're both perfectly centered. Make sure that they're both black or both the same color. I made the mistake again. All right. Now I'm going to regroup those together. Okay, now we're going to get started with our next label. I'm going to do rice, and we're going to follow the same steps as before. So I'm going to make sure it's black, pop it into my frame there, size it how we want to size it. All right, highlight rice and the frame, go up to align. Okay, align vertically and align horizontally, center horizontally. All right, Command G or Control G to group those two together. All right, moving on. Moving on to brown sugar. Now we're going to follow the same steps again. This is going to help sort of solidify the steps needed here. Okay, so we're going to make that brown. We're going to make the color black. Now we're going to do sugar for the bottom. Make sure it's also black. Okay, size it. All right, highlight brown and sugar. We're going to group them together. Command G or Control G on your keyboard. And place it within the frame. Highlight the frame and your words. Go up to Align panel, down to Center horizontally, Align panel, Center vertically. Perfect. Highlight those two, Command G or Control G on your keyboard, and that will group them together. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of my labels, and we'll see you in the next slide. All right, so I've got all my labels ready here. I'm going to highlight them, group them together, and attach, and click Make. Weeding here. I'm just going to quickly weed out my labels. Now I'm using a removable vinyl, so it's a little bit more finicky. I probably could have adjusted my settings better so that the vinyl would have cut a little nicer. Okay, now we're going to take our transfer tape. Now I'm going to line up the line of my transfer tape with the line of my frame. And that's going to make it a little bit straighter or easier to make it straight. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to burnish it on. So I'm going to take my little burnishing tool or my scraper tool, and I'm just going to make sure that that vinyl is adhered nicely to the transfer tape. And this is the most satisfying part, guys. I love this. Removing the backing. Oh,
So satisfying. How cute that looks. All right, so let's place that on our first pantry jar. All right, now we're going to take our burnishing tool and we're going to burnish that vinyl on. Make sure it sticks perfectly. Make sure you get every little spot that you can there. And then again, another favorite part of mine coming up is that final reveal of pulling off the transfer tape and seeing your creation come to life. How cute is that? I just love seeing the after and the creations that we make when they're done. It's so satisfying. Let's get started on the next one. Or I should have increased the pressure with my blade. As you can see here, it didn't fully cut through the vinyl. I kept it on default pressure and I should have gone with more pressure for this vinyl. So I'm just burnishing it down a little bit more just so I can weed it properly. All right, again, I'm using my transfer tape with the line. So I'm going to line up that straight line on the straight line of the frame so that it's easy to put on nice and straight on my pantry jar. We're going to burnish that vinyl onto the transfer tape, make sure it's on there. And oh, another one of my favorite parts here is that satisfying removal and getting ready to put it on our pantry jar. Feel so satisfying, so cute. I just love this design. Can't wait to put these in my kitchen. They're gonna look great on the counter or even in your pantry. All right, and we've got the last label that I'm gonna do with you guys today. And again, we're lining up that line with the line of the frame to make sure we can get it on nice and straight and use them as a guide. Another quick tip here, guys, is you can flip it over and burnish the back as well so that it helps stick a little bit easier to that transfer tape. And look at this, a nice, clean, easy peel, so satisfying, so beautiful. Okay, so that's the end of our video today. I am so glad that you joined me, and hit the subscribe button. Drop me a comment or a question. Pantry labels turned out well, and I really hope that this video inspires you to get started with your Cricut.